Now, I know it's kind of a weird thing to do to get all excited about a battery, but this new Amaran PAEK battery, well, it's found a permanent place in my camera bag. So in this video, I'm going to explain why this PAEK battery is better than any other video battery that I've ever owned. I'm also going to run a bunch of tests on this battery to see whether or not it lives up to its claims. Oh, but I'm also going to tell you about a few quirks that this battery has that you might want to know about before you buy it. It is a little heavy, but you know what? It's worth its weight. Not in gold. It's not worth its weight in gold. That's a lot of money. But it's worth the $129 that this costs. Now I can hear some of you saying, hey, $129, well, that's pretty expensive. But you know what? I've paid a lot more for a lot less. And if Amaran hadn't sent this to me for free, yeah, I probably would have bought one. Don't tell them they said that. Let's get started. Now the PAEK battery comes with this magnetic ace-lock mount and attaches very securely to it, and it allows you to just basically very quickly snap on the PANO 160 or 120C. So both the mount and the PANO light have little contacts here that match up, and so you can use this without a wire. Well, there is a wire, it's hooked up through the mount, but you don't have to have like a wire. You get it. Now when I first saw this battery at NAB this year, I looked at it and went, yeah, okay, kind of cool, but I wasn't nearly as excited as I should have been, because what I didn't understand was this puts out 170 watts of power, which is more than enough to do this 60C, but it will also do the 120C, which is 120 watts of power. Yeah, so pretty powerful battery. So just as a comparison, I had this ZG H90, which is a great little unit that GoDox sent me, and yeah, it has a little attachment here. It's not wireless, but here, we can wire it up. Now, on the PANO, because of the attachment, well, you got to put it on upside down. And then if I turn that on, well, guess what? It gives me a warning and says it can't run this at 100% because it's 120 watts. And I think this will only do about 90. So it'll run it at 70%, which is kind of cool that the PANO can do that. It can run off something that's less of a battery than it needs. But still, yeah, this little battery here, well, it will save you $30, but it's not going to run the 120. Just doesn't have enough juice. And you know something else this doesn't have? A screen. Yeah, all you get here is 5 little lights. Over here, you get all kinds of information. The battery tells you the watts that you're inputting, the watts that you're outputting, as well as giving you an estimate about how much time is left considering the draw that you're pulling from the battery. And you know what? I find this to be quite accurate. Not perfect, but very close and very helpful. It'll also give you an estimate of the time it takes to recharge it given the wattage that you're putting into it. And that's, again, super helpful. Now, the old Amaran panel light, the P60C, well, it had its battery solution built here into the back. And you could take these NPF batteries and just slide them in like this. I guess these aren't charged. Okay, let's try these batteries. They have a little screen on them, so I know they're charged. Yeah, so pretty slick. So when I saw the battery solution here, I thought, well, is that really an improvement? But yeah, this is definitely an improvement because even if you don't use this to power your panel light, well, it's an awesome battery. Here, let me show you. Yeah, so let's just take off the mount here and think about the battery just in terms of the battery itself. You got 2 USB-C ins and outs as well as a USB-A. It has a large screw mount here on the bottom. It also has a little adapter so you can get this down to 1/4 It also has these little receiving holes here for those little prongs that help you get a nice, tight, secure lock so it doesn't twist. The outer construction appears to be metal, at least it feels like metal. And it has these 2 rubber edges here that make it so it's a really nice grip. It's not going to fall out of your hands. But here, let's get a few cords and let's charge a few things. Yeah. It'll charge all kinds of things like I charged a little earlier on my phone, and yeah, that works great. I can even charge my computer at the same time. Yeah, pretty cool. So with my phone and my laptop plugged in, well, I'm pulling out about 60 watts. It looks like it's going to last for another hour and 20 minutes before it depletes the battery. Now, it won't tell me when these are going to be fully charged, but it will tell me how long it can maintain this output. Yeah, that's very useful information. Now, the PAEK isn't the only battery that I have that has useful information from a screen. These SmallRig batteries, this one, the 99, it'll cost you a little bit more money, and it's only 65 watts, but it does have useful information on the screen. So if you need a battery with a V-mount plate, well, the SmallRig is a great option. But if you don't, well, you're going to get a lot more for a lot less out of the PAEK. Oh, and if you'd like to help me get the word out about this battery to as many people as possible, the easiest thing you can do is just hit the like button. Yeah, it actually means a lot. But now I want to look at the tests I ran on the performance of the battery. PAEK 120 at 100% power, it lasted about 32 minutes. Oh, and the HG90 actually lasted a few minutes longer, but remember, it was only running at 70% of power. Oh, and just for fun, I also ran the test on the PANO 60, and it lasted about twice as long, as one would expect for a light that is half the power. But the big test to me was the recharging time. I wanted to see how long does it take to recharge. Well, with a 140-watt charger, it took about an hour to get to 90%. But then it took another 23 minutes to go from 90% to 100%. Oh, and just remember the PAEK doesn't come with a charger. It can take up to a 140-watt charger, but that's going to run you some money. You can get a cheaper one like this that does 40 watts, but that's going to take longer to charge. Or you can stick with a very inexpensive charger, but that's going to take the longest to charge. Now, when I searched the web for other competing batteries that could also output 170 watts, I found a lot that were a lot more expensive than this. But I found one that looked pretty interesting. Look, this is the Shargeek 170 power bank. Does it look familiar to you? All right, something's going on here, and I don't know what the deal is, but it's pretty clear to me that these are coming out of the same factory. I mean, the screens are identical. The information is identical. The size is identical. The placement of all of the cabling, that's identical. The only differences I can see is that they moved the button to the back and they've made room for the ace lock to go on. The Shargeek retails for $169, which is $40 more than the PAEK, plus it doesn't come with the ace lock mount. But just yesterday, I noticed it was on sale, and you can actually pick it up for just a little bit less. So if you shop around, you might be able to save yourself a few bucks and buy the Shargeek brand. But you know what? I would probably buy the PAEK anyway, even if it was a few extra bucks, because it comes with this great adapter that works really well with my PANO lights. But what if I wasn't going to have any PANO lights and didn't want to use those? Well, Amaran sells another little accessory you might be interested in, and it's this little guy right here. And this is an adapter that allows you to put this in your ace lock mount, and now it becomes a normal adapter pretty much for any other light that you have. So yeah, this would work really well. Now it's not going to power up through here, but at least you've got something or some way to mount this light to pretty much whatever light that you would like. So I can take a light like the Amaran 60X and I can attach this little adapter to it, and voila, it has an ace mount lock. Oh, and Amaran even sells an adapter for this, even though this isn't USB-C. Yeah, for a few bucks, Amaran will sell you this little cord here. Very long cable, actually screws in right here and attaches, and then we can put this into the source, just like that, and voila. Yeah, and there's more than enough power to run this at 100%. Oh, and Amaran has some other accessories that are pretty inexpensive. Well, at least inexpensive in the video world. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. You just put it on like that, and you've got a great little mount here that allows you to put this onto something else. Here, let me show you. So, there you go. Very tight and secure. I don't know about you, but I personally am all about the little accessories, the things that allow me to take my tool and use it in a number of different ways. And that's one of the things I really love about this PAEK battery that I didn't quite understand when I first saw it. And now for a couple of nitpicky things. It doesn't come in a case, but it does come in this bag, which is kind of padded, or at least it's kind of a thick material. So you get a little protection there. I wish it would go inside of the PANO case itself, but there isn't really any room for it. I wish they had left some room in that. I wish this were a little bit bigger, and I wish this was a little hard shell. In fact, I wish it was a bag sort of like the 2-light kit that Amaran sells. And I don't have the 2-light kit because Amaran didn't send that to me. Hey, I have an idea. Why don't you hit the like button and maybe leave a comment and tell Amaran that they need to send me the 2-light kit. Oh, and of course you could subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, enough pandering. Well, thanks for letting me geek out about this battery. If you'd like to see me geek out about more things, you can just press that button right over there. Hey, thanks for stopping by.